So we have three goals, and the goals, you've already seen them because they're on the posters, no surprise there. It's also no surprise to any of us that Pittsburgh and our county, as well as our public school system, have been declining in enrollment for a long time. In my lifetime, I'm old, but I'm not like archaic, ancient old, but in my lifetime, our city has lost over half of its population, and so has our district. So our first goal is to mitigate the population and enrollment declines, but not just like slow them down and bring them to a stop, but we do envision a day where we can actually reverse them, where our city will not simply say, you know, we're not losing as many people as we used to. We're saying, look at all the new people we are attracting, and look at the wild and wonderful places outside of West Virginia from which they come. So that's our first goal. And our second goal, so if our first goal is looking at the city, our second goal is looking at our kids. We think it's important to grow our high school completion rates, but also the college readiness of all of our kids, and then finally their success post-college. Then our third goal is to, once we've scholarship our kids and seen them through to graduation, to prepare them to be a well-prepared, energized, diverse workforce that is eager to also serve its community by volunteering. Well, what specifically are we going to try to deliver? Well, here's what we think can happen, and that is by the year 2012. By the year 2012, the decline of the population of our city and the decline of the enrollment of our district will come to a stop. We think over the next 4 years, enough can happen to slow down the population losses and the enrollment declines. And they'll come to a dead stop by about 2012, and then begin to inch their way back. We're going to do everything we can to give incentives for those who are in the city to stay, and those who are not in the city to relocate to it. We're going to do everything we can to highlight the beauty and the diversity of our urban fabric, to elevate the significance of our local culture, and then also the affordability of living in the city. And then we are going to promote and tell the story of public school reform at every opportunity we get. In fact, we created a new position, and the young man who was standing at my far left, Eugene Walker. Eugene, his job is going to be to sell our schools, sell our neighborhoods, and work with realtors and sell our neighborhoods. So we are going to do our very best to deliver on that. And I just have a paragraph that I'm going to read to you. This email arrived just 3 days ago. I don't know this person. And this person wrote, after graduating from the University of Pittsburgh, I worked out of town for about 8 years before returning to raise my family in the burg. Well, the house I purchased was a great starter house, but was just outside of the city limits, and consequently my children began their academics in another school district. As my family grew and my circumstances changed, I was faced with the task of finding a new home and had to be mindful of the different opportunities available amongst the many school districts. The Pittsburgh Public Schools were familiar to me, and the proximity of the facilities to my workplace put the district on my shortlist. However, the clear choice for where my children would enroll did not crystallize until I understood the impact of the Pittsburgh Promise. Other areas boast academics that equal the Pittsburgh Public Schools, and several have superior athletics or facilities. But the combination of quality and value would not be matched in any other program. Now that we are residents of the city of Pittsburgh, and my children enjoyed this past school year enrolled in Menadeo, Sterrett, and Greenway, thank you for allowing me to tell you my story and for your efforts to facilitate the promise. It's not yet data, but you know what data is. It's a series of anecdotes. So the plural of anecdotes is data, and we have a few anecdotes on which we can hang the skeletal frame of data. Well, some other encouraging indicators beyond just a couple of anecdotes here and there. Well, in each of the last 5 years, between September and February, nearly 600 children were removed from Pittsburgh Public Schools. But that's not the encouraging indicator. However, please note that for 5 years in a row, after the school year began and before the spring term came to a close, we lost about 500 to 600 kids every year. Well, the encouraging data is that in this past school year, that number dropped to 86. Now, of course, that's 86 too many, but we'll take 86 over 500 on the way to reversing this any day. That's an encouraging indicator. But another one is that each of the last 5 years, enrollment declined by an average of 1,400 students each year. Well, for this coming school year, it looks like enrollment will decline by 500 students. Again, that's 500 too many. But we're on our way to slamming the brakes and bringing this thing to a stop, which we believe will happen by or before 2012. All right, our second goal is about high school completion rates, about college graduation rates, and then success post-high school. We're being aspirational here, and we think it's important to be aspirational, part of dreaming big and working hard. We expect to grow high school completion rates to within the top 5% of the largest 100 districts in the country. And then we also hope to double what we think is dismally low college graduation rates of graduates of Pittsburgh Public Schools from where they are right now, which is 20 to 30% of our graduates who go on to college complete their post-secondary education. We expect to double that by 2012 and then reach the highest rates of college retention of any districts in the country. So how are we doing? All right, that chart shows high school completion rates that are averaged for each state in the country. And you see Pennsylvania there is the 11th in the nation, which is not bad in terms of high school completion rates. So the best one is, surprisingly, New Jersey, with about 85% high school completion rates. And then Pennsylvania is about 78% when you average all of our districts together. Well, where are we right now for Pittsburgh Public Schools? For the class of 2008, we were at about 65%, and that's where we have hovered for several years, that about 65% of kids who start with us in the 9th grade complete high school in Pittsburgh 4 years later. So that's where we are right now. When we say that we want to be within the top 5% of the largest 100 districts in the country, this is where that puts us. That's what we are now aiming for. And that's not just the Pittsburgh Promise. This is something that also our district has committed to, our superintendent has committed to, and there's some new developments happening within the district that involve a possible investment by a national foundation, are looking at numbers such as this. So that's what we are committing ourselves to working towards. How about on the college graduation rates? Here they are again, state by state. And you see Pennsylvania is actually has the 3rd highest college retention and graduation rates of any state in the country. Well, I told you earlier what the numbers look like for Pittsburgh Public Schools graduates. So the class of 2002, only about 25, 26% of them by 2007 had completed their post-secondary education. Where we hope to put that, where we say in to lead our nation on that, we expect to at least align the graduation rates from college of Pittsburgh students with the students of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.